Hi everyone. In this video, I want to take you through three generative AI tools: OpenAI ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and Anthropic Claude. And we'll be working on the same Excel file and we will learn how to analyze the data using these three tools. So this is the file with which we are working. So I have an Excel file and let me walk you through it first. So there are 51,000 transactions. There are 15 columns. The data starts at A1. There are no errors in it. All the columns have only one data type. So it is a clean data. And the data we have is for a company that is selling multiple products across categories, across segments around the world. And if we go through the columns one by one, we have the order date, the ship date, the name of the customer. Then the next five columns are the city, state, country, region, market. So that would be the geography. Then we have the category, the subcategory, and the business segment. And then finally, four numerical columns that would be the sales, quantity, discount, and profit. So this is the file that we're going to work on. Let's come to ChatGPT. So first we want to upload the same file. So upload from computer. And here we go. Now ChatGPT by default writes Python code. So if I simply say read it, you will notice that it immediately starts to write the Python code. Now while this session is not about making you a Python programmer, I'm still going to walk you through it a little bit, and that's always good learning to have. So it is importing the Python library pandas. This is a comment which is load the Excel file. The file path is a path that is with ChatGPT. That means it is mounting this particular Excel file temporarily on the ChatGPT server. And then the file is called XLS. So pandas is used to read the file. And then we are displaying the sheet names. Now in this case, I only have one sheet called orders compact. If your Excel file had multiple sheets in it, then it would have given you a list of all the sheets and would have asked you which one is it that you want to select. After that, we are using pandas to read the file. So XLS is my file. The sheet name is orders compact. And we are saving this into a data frame called df. And then when I say df.head, it shows me the first few rows. So the first 5 rows to be exact. And as you can see, we can see the data for the first 5 rows. And it also tells me a little bit about how it understood the data. So order date, ship date, customer name, and so on. So just like I, as a consultant or an analyst, was explaining to you and walking you through all the columns, similarly, ChatGPT is going to do the same thing. Now, the next thing I want to do is to ask a very simple question. Let me also do this parallelly on an Excel pivot table at the same time. So insert pivot table. And let us say we keep our sales in the value and our market in the rows. So you can see we have Africa at 7,83,000, Asia Pacific at 40,42,000, and so on. Now let's say we want to do the same thing in ChatGPT. So we simply have to come back and ask it, create a table to show sales for each market, or rather the sum of sales for each market. So we give a prompt in natural language. So there is no syntax that you have to remember or use. The comment is, it is grouping the market as per the sum of sales value. So df.group by market and then sum of sales. And then as you can see, it is showing us the data. And if you batch it with the Excel file, we get the same numbers that we were getting on the Excel. Now let us say that you want to visualize it. So I will say create a line chart, or rather a column chart from this. So now it is using a visualization library on Python called matplotlib. So it is importing matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. Then it's creating a figure. This is the size. Then the bar is market and the sales value. And then there's a title, total sales by market, that you see here. We have the X label, Y label, font size, and the text. And then of course the X tech, the grid. Now, obviously I'm not going to walk you through the Python bit right now. A, you can Google it. And B, you can even ask ChatGPT to explain something to you that you do not understand. For example, if I don't understand what alpha is and what X ticks are, I can simply say, what are X ticks? And then what is alpha? So the good part here is that it's a no-code platform, which means with natural language, you can get the result. And you don't even have to bother going to the documentation. You can simply ask ChatGPT to explain these things to you. Now, as you can see, X-ticks refers to the tick marks and labels on the X-axis. And then we have 45-degree rotation like this. Alpha is 0 being completely transparent, 1 being fully opaque. Now, I have this chart and I really like it. But I would also like to maybe change the colors and also add a data label and remove the y-axis. So I'm going to tell it, change the column colors to blue, remove the y-axis and add data label on each column. Again, it's just a natural language prompt. So again, it is replotting the figure for me. So now again, we have sales and market, but it is using not the default color, but a blue color. If I wanted to tell it the hex code, we could have done that as well. So then we remove the y-axis, so the visibility is false. Title, font size, X label, rotation. And as you can see, now we have the data label on the top that comes like this. It's pretty cool, right? Now we can keep on asking more and more questions, and the way to work with it is to continue the chat. We can also expand it, and this is another way of looking at the chart in its entirety and then asking for further refinements. You can download the chart from here. At the moment, the settings only allow you to change the color, but I'm assuming that over time they will add more features to it as well. What about something more advanced? Let us say a scatter chart. So if I say I want a scatter chart where x-axis is my sales, y-axis is profit, and then we want to show all subcategory as bubble. Again, as you can see, it is now creating another group by, creating a scatter chart, adding labels, and the final output looks like this. Pretty good, right? Now, what if you want to change the icon? So I will acknowledge that it has done a good job. I will say thanks. Can you change this to circles? In fact, if you notice, even the comments are meaningful. So the comment also tells you that we are creating a scatter plot with circular markers. And as you can see, now we get these circles like this. That's not all. If you want insights from the data, I can also say, give me 5 insights. So remember, it's not just a data analytics platform. Because it is a generative AI platform, now I can ask it to give me the insights as well, like this. Perfect. Now let's hop over to Gemini. We will upload our Excel file. As we did earlier, I will say read it. Now Gemini as well is going to use Python as the default. So just like it did with ChatGPT, we're asking it to read the Excel file. So it is writing the Python code. If you want to see it, you can click on the show code button. Now the code will be a little different because there are different ways to write the code, and also the comments might be different. But by and large, it's doing the same thing. It is displaying my data like this. Now, even though I didn't ask it, if you notice, it is telling us the customer name, quantity, and sales, which is a little odd because I didn't really ask it to do that. Like it is sorting as per the value. But that's Google Gemini trying to help you to guide you what could be the next step. But if I ask you to do the same thing, let's say create a column chart to show sum of sales by market. I will say column colors will be blue. I don't want a y-axis. Show data label on the columns. So I've just merged all the prompts into one single prompt. Create a column chart to show sum of sales by market. Column colors will be blue, no y-axis, and show data label on the columns. As you can see, okay, now if it doesn't work, the good part is it will tell you that it isn't working and why it isn't working. So in this case, it tells me that it can't import Altair. It's only giving me the code that I can copy and run in another Python environment. But I can ask it, use matplotlib. Now matplotlib is one of the most popular visualization libraries. And hopefully, by asking Gemini to use this, you will notice it is now able to do that. Now the reason it did not work with Altair is because while there are thousands of packages available in Python, Google Gemini natively within the environment cannot run all of them. But as you can see, when I asked it to run with matplotlib, it worked perfectly like this. And of course we can download it as an image as well. Let's do this on Claude as well. So once again, I will select our Excel file. We will ask it to read it. Now both on OpenAI ChatGPT and Google Gemini, it gave you a Python code. But in Claude, it will write JavaScript. Why is there a difference? That's the way the tools work. Gemini and ChatGPT have chosen to use Python. Claude, on the other hand, has chosen to use JavaScript. But as you can see, we will get the exact same output. You can go to view analysis and expand to see the entire code like this. And as you can see, it is telling me 51290 rows, 15 columns, so on and so forth. Same prompt as earlier. In fact, I can even copy it from here. So if I ask it to create a column chart to show sum of sales by market, column colors will be blue, no y-axis, and show a data label on the column. It is again writing the JavaScript code. And now it is creating a React component. So in the artifact on the right side, you can see that the numbers have got picked up. They are the same numbers. If I show you the code, we have 7,83,000 for Africa, we have 40 lakhs for Asia Pacific. And in the preview, we get a chart that looks like this. Pretty cool, right? Now if I say, give me 5 insights do remember that in Claude, if I go to download, it only downloads the TypeScript file. So generally what we do is to take a screenshot and then put it on a PowerPoint. So I've asked it to give me 5 insights, and as you can see, just like we did it on ChatGPT and Gemini, it is giving us 5 insights like this. But there's one bonus step that we can do as well, where I can ask it to show these insights in detail as a McKinsey style infographic on one page. And I want a 16 by 9 layout. So I want to show these 5 insights in detail as a McKinsey style infographic on a single page in a 16 by 9 aspect ratio. Now what it does is, it is able to take the insights that were text, and again, if you notice, it is recreating the code for you. And if you see the final output, it's completely no code, so I don't have to do anything. We can get this. Let me go to publish and open this in a new tab. And here we go. So discount impact, regional variation, category margins, segment analysis, top product. Is it perfect? No, but it's very cool for a single prompt. And you can of course customize it further and give it more specific instructions as well. And we can also say, convert the insights into a one-page infographic. So I want a McKinsey style, but this time I want to use SVG. So SVG would be scalable vector graphic. So rather than making a dashboard with charts in it, now I want to get an infographic, similar to how consulting firms do it. And as you can see, it is now writing the SVG code. Let me again publish it. And as you can see, we get this. Still not perfect, but with a little bit of customization on top of it, I'm sure you can create your final presentation slide that you can just copy and put on a report. So let's do a quick recap. First, on ChatGPT, we uploaded the file, asked it to read it. We got the Python code. So with pandas, it read the file, picked up the sheet, showed me the top 5 rows. Then I asked it to show me the sum of sales for each market. It did it as a table. And when I asked it to create a column chart, it did that. But then I did a few formatting changes, which is to remove the y-axis, add the data label, and change the color. In between, as you can see, if there's any part of the code and you're not sure how that works, you can ask it. Like I asked it to explain to me what is X, and alpha, and it did that. Similarly, in Gemini, we said read it, we get the Python code. We ask it in one single prompt to create the chart. Even though I did not do it the first time with Altair, when I asked it to use matplotlib, it worked perfectly. And then on Claude, also we can upload an Excel, but here it will not write Python code, it will write JavaScript. So we asked it to create the chart. That gave me this. We asked for the insights, and the insights came in 2 ways. One was using React, and when we asked it specifically that we want SVG, it created this for me. So there you go. Quick summary of how we can analyze Excel files using OpenAI ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and Anthropic Claude.